Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. If you're going through hell, keep going. You have enemies? Good. That means you've stood up for something, sometime in your life. History will be kind to me, for I intend to write it. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks. A lie gets halfway around the world before the truth has a chance to get its pants on. Never, never, never give up. The price of greatness is responsibility. I am easily satisfied with the very best. Out of intense complexities, intense simplicities emerge. Kites rise highest against the wind, not with it. Continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential. It is not enough that we do our best. Sometimes we must do what is required. The farther backward you can look, the farther forward you are likely to see. In the course of my life, I have often had to eat my words, and I must confess that I have always found it a wholesome diet. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. The empires of the future are the empires of the mind. Difficulties mastered are opportunities won. There is no time for ease and comfort. It is time to dare and endure. The truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is. We shall draw from the heart of suffering itself the means of inspiration and survival. It is a mistake to look too far ahead. Only one link in the chain of destiny can be handled at a time. A joke is a very serious thing. My tastes are simple. I am easily satisfied with the best. You must put your head into the lion's mouth if the performance is to be a success. I never worry about action, but only about inaction. An appeaser is one who feeds a crocodile, hoping it will eat him last. I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. It is better to be making the news than taking it to be an actor rather than a critic. We are all worms, but I do believe that I am a glowworm. The greatest lesson in life is to know that even fools are right sometimes. A fanatic is one who can't change his mind and won't change the subject. The problems of victory are more agreeable than those of defeat, but they are no less difficult. To to build may have to be the slow and laborious task of years. To destroy can be the thoughtless act of a single day. A state of society where men may not speak their minds cannot long endure. Everyone has his day, and some days last longer than others. The inherent vice of capitalism is the unequal sharing of blessings. The inherent virtue of socialism is the equal sharing of miseries. Men occasionally stumble over the truth, but most of them pick themselves up and hurry off as if nothing had happened. It is a fine thing to be honest, but it is also very important to be right. A small lie needs a bodyguard of bigger lies to protect it. Broadly speaking, the short words are the best, and the old words best of all. The first duty of the university is to teach wisdom, not a trade character, not technicalities. The power of man has grown in every sphere, except over himself. In finance, everything that is agreeable is unsound, and everything that is sound is disagreeable. Those who can win a war well can rarely make a good peace, and those who could make a good peace would never have won the war. We shape our buildings thereafter, they shape us. Criticism may not be agreeable, but it is necessary. It fulfills the same function as pain in the human body. It calls attention to an unhealthy state of things. The truth is so precious that she should always be attended by a bodyguard of lies. I am prepared to meet my Maker. Whether my Maker is prepared for the great ordeal of meeting me is another matter. War is mainly a catalogue of blunders. All the greatest things are simple, and many can be expressed in a single word: freedom, justice, honor, duty, mercy, hope. However beautiful the strategy, you should occasionally look at the results. To each there comes in their lifetime a special moment when they are figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered the chance to do a very special thing, unique to them and fitted to their talents. What a tragedy if that moment finds them unprepared or unqualified for that which could have been their finest hour. History is written by the victors. When the eagles are silent, the parrots begin to jabber. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. There is something about the outside of a horse that is good for the inside of a man. In war, you can only be killed once, but in politics, many times. To jaw is always better than to war. A politician needs the ability to foretell what is going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year, and to have the ability afterward to explain why it didn't happen. It is a good thing for an uneducated man to read books of quotations. The nation will find it very hard to look up to the leaders who are keeping their ears to the ground. Personally, I'm always ready to learn, although I do not always like being taught. Without tradition, art is a flock of sheep without a shepherd. Without innovation, it is a corpse. A prisoner of war is a man who tries to kill you and fails, and then asks you not to kill him. There are a terrible lot of lies going around the world, and the worst of it is half of them are true. A love of tradition has never weakened a nation indeed. It has strengthened nations in their hour of peril. You create your own universe as you go along. Nothing in life is so exhilarating as to be shot at without result. The best argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter. A politician who is poor for a good reason. We shall not fail or falter, we shall not weaken or tire. Neither the sudden shock of battle nor the long-drawn trials of vigilance and exertion will wear us down. If we open a quarrel between past and present, we shall find that we have lost the future. Socialism is a philosophy of failure, the creed of ignorance, and the gospel of envy. Its inherent virtue is the equal sharing of misery. We are masters of the unsaid words, but slaves of those we let slip out. Never hold discussions with the monkey when the organ grinder is in the room. No hour of life is wasted that is spent in the saddle. We sleep safely at night because rough men stand ready to visit violence on those who would harm us. If you have an important point to make, don't try to be subtle or clever. Use a pile driver. Hit the point once. Then come back and hit it again. Then hit it a third time, a tremendous whack. If Hitler invaded hell, I would make at least a favorable reference to the devil in the House of Commons. I am an optimist. It does not seem too much use being anything else. Let our advanced worrying become advanced thinking and planning. It is a mistake to look too far ahead. Only one link in the chain of destiny can be handled at a time. My rule of life prescribed as an absolutely sacred right smoking cigars and also the drinking of alcohol before, after, and if need be, during all meals and in the intervals between them. True genius resides in the capacity for evaluation of uncertain, hazardous, and conflicting information. Politics is almost as exciting as war, and quite as dangerous. In war you can only be killed once, but in politics many times. Too often the strong, silent man is silent only because he does not know what to say, and is reputed strong only because he has remained silent. The reserve of modern assertions is sometimes pushed to extremes, in which the fear of being contradicted leads the writer to strip himself of almost all sense and meaning. Battles are won by slaughter and maneuver. The greater the general, the more he contributes in maneuver, the less he demands in slaughter. Nothing can be more abhorrent to democracy than to imprison a person or keep him in prison because he is unpopular. This is really the test of civilization. Want of foresight, unwillingness to act when action would be simple and effective, lack of clear thinking, confusion of counsel until the emergency comes, until self-preservation strikes its jarring gong, these are the features which constitute the endless repetition of history. I always avoid prophesying beforehand, because it is a much better policy to prophesy after the event has already taken place. If the human race wishes to have a prolonged and indefinite period of material prosperity, they have only got to behave in a peaceful and helpful way toward one another. A good speech should be like a woman's skirt, long enough to cover the subject and short enough to create interest. Healthy citizens are the greatest asset any country can have. I was only the servant of my country, and had I, at any moment, failed to express her unflinching resolve to fight and conquer, I should at once have been rightly cast aside. Although personally I am quite content with existing explosives, I feel we must not stand in the path of improvement. My wife and I tried 2 or 3 times in the last 40 years to have breakfast together, but it was so disagreeable we had to stop. If the Almighty were to rebuild the world and ask me for advice, I would have English channels round every country, and the atmosphere would be such that anything which attempted to fly would be set on fire. The power of man has grown in every sphere, except over himself. I cannot pretend to be impartial about the colors. I rejoice with the brilliant ones, and am genuinely sorry for the poor browns. The British nation is unique in this respect. They are the only people who like to be told how bad things are, who like to be told the worst. When we look back on all the perils through which we have passed, and at the mighty foes that we have laid low and all the dark and deadly designs that we have frustrated, why should we fear for our future? We have come safely through the worst. No idea is so outlandish that it should not be considered with a searching but at the same time a steady eye. For my part, I consider that it will be found much better by all parties to leave the past to history, especially as I propose to write that history myself. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.